Good morning, Assassins. Today's Thursday, April 6th. Watching the overall economical calendar. That's what's on our screen right now. You guys can find this on marketwatch.com. Um, Basically, at 8:30, we have jobless numbers. And then we have Fed Lewis Bullard, basically speaking at 10 a.m. So make sure you guys stay tuned and check out the overall outcoming news that may overall affect your trades tomorrow. We have unemployment. I believe the market is actually closed tomorrow. So that's one thing. It's a short week because of Easter. So today's your last trading day of the week. Jumping over towards the charts, we actually have some requests. Make sure you guys message me if you guys want any requests or want me to do any charting on any stock that you guys are interested in. So number one, or the one of the requests was Shopify. Looking at Shopify, this is the 1 year, 1 day, trying to find the overall rhythm of what's going on with this stock, right? Overall, we could see that Shopify has been very sideways ever since 2022 of March. You see that we basically haven't really increased or decreased majorly in price, right? So definitely want to watch to see what's going to overall happen over here. Looking at where the 1 year EMA is, the 1 year EMA is at 46. That's why I placed a solid orange line. Had a resistance at 48.30. If we break above there, we could possibly start pushing up towards 50. To the downside, it is pulling back over here. Looks like it should have some type of support at 45. If it does break 45, it could possibly push down towards 43. Let's drop down towards the smaller charts. I want to see what it looks like on the 180 day. I see what it looks like on the 180 day, right? So 180 day, even if it does come down and break that 44.93, we have the SMA over here. So 44.93 to 44. I don't know how these contracts move, but definitely want to be cautious with that. It's not really like a high risk reward, right? RSI is oversold also, so we may actually possibly bounce whenever the RSI is oversold. That's when you want to possibly look for your long positions. These are 4 hour candles, kind of going sideways over here. Not to say it can't possibly drop, but it's a high risk short position because the RSI is oversold. Looking at the 20 day, 20 day is very oversold over here. And you can see the 20-day MACD actually looks like it wants to cross over. These are 1 hour candles. You guys can see that we're going sideways over here. So definitely want to be cautious with those short positions. Possibly look for a long position above 45. Then we can start pushing up from 45.21. Then we could start possibly going to 46 on Shopify. Next request was AMD. Let's jump back over towards the 1 year. Clear these up again. Right, looking at AMD, you can see AMD long term basically hasn't really done much as well, but doesn't mean we can't day trade it. Right now, MACD is crossed down, so on the yearly, it is starting to look bearish. Right, second thing, sign of bearishness, right, is that we're below the 1 year EMA. Right, that blue line. When we're above it, we're bullish. When we're below it, we're bearish. So we're below it right now. So that's a sign of bearishness. Just want to get these major support and resistance levels out, especially since the sector is kind of warm right now. You guys have seen the video, which is on our watch list. We'll talk about that later, but let's look at the 180 day. What's going on with the 180 day? Nice uptrend from 54 all the way up towards like a high of 100. Right now, the RSI is oversold. It did sell off from 100 down towards like this 91 zone. So definitely want to be careful, especially if you're going for a short position, kind of like what Shopify, right? I don't know what the contracts are looking like, but if you feel like you could make money from $90.90 down towards $87, depending on how the contracts move, you may want to go for this move. Watch out for that, but it is very oversold, so you definitely want to be cautious with a short position. Oversold meaning the RSI is around 30, meaning that, hey, we could possibly bounce anytime. So it's a high risk short position. You probably would be safer looking for a long position, especially since this is starting to look like a double bottom over here. Anything above 92.84, right, which was a previous support, previous resistance, we could start basically pushing up. So make sure you set your alerts. MACD does look like it wants to cross over. So above that 90, 93, we could start basically pushing up towards 95, which is the 1 year on AMD. Next one we're going to talk about is NVDA. NVIDIA, probably one of the strongest stocks in the market, has actually started to pull back right now. Looking at the 180-day on NVDA, right? NVIDIA, you can see we're on a stepping staircase pattern going up. MACD crossed down, RSI was overbought. We basically start to pull back. This is what I'm talking about. When the RSI is overbought, look for your short positions. We start to hold below the EMA. That is a sign of bearishness, right? One sign of bearishness, RSI overbought. Second sign of bearishness, candles underneath the EMA. Third sign of bearishness, MACD crossover. So I always look at the RSI first, placement on the charts. Is it above or below the EMA? MACD cross. It's that simple. So that's the method I use. There's many methods out there. So, but this is just the one I use, right? So right now it's over in a bearish position. It can continue to possibly go down the video. Right? A lot of people caught this trade to the downside. 264 down towards 258 could be a possible short position. Make sure you guys watch out for that. RSI is more on the oversold side, but it has room, right? Unlike the other ones we've seen, it actually has room to the downside. So let's see what happens. It could possibly keep on rejecting this 180-day trade line over here at 269. If it does not get above 269 on the 180-day, you would not look, or I wouldn't look for a long position if it does not get above this 269. Why? Because it's in a bearish position, right? It's below the EMA. Whenever we're below this EMA, it's bearish. So even if I catch a long position, how long or how can I even trust this position if we're still below the EMA? There's plenty of times where we get a green candle and fail to break above that EMA, or sometimes you do break above it, but you want to have confirmation, right? Whenever you hear people talk about confirmation, what are they talking about, right? They want the candles to hold above that area, right? Hold above the EMA. You want to see one or two candles hold above that EMA, and you can ride the trend up. Same situation. One or two candles hold below the EMA, and you can ride the trend down, right? Until it gets broken and it gets violated, that's when you exit the trade, right? Or you just take profits because you like the way your profits are looking. But overall, EMA is very important to me. So watch the 264 break down towards that 250, 258 over here. Now to the upside, this orange line, that's my 1 year EMA, right? We didn't even check the 1 year. I already updated it previously. So you can see the 1 year right here, right? At 270. MACD is actually crossing down. So NVIDIA is actually getting bearish right now. Right, she was bullish before. MACD had crossed up. We shot up from like 239 all the way to 280. Right now, the MACD's crossing down in a bearish position, right? The RSI is in a bearish position, right? We're showing signs of bearishness right now, right? Let's see what happens. But for a day trade, you could get for that short position right there. So if we're looking for a long position and we're below not only the EMA, but the 180-day EMA, but the 1 year EMA, which is my orange line over here. That 1 year EMA is going to be a major level you want to watch for, right? That's why I always put it in orange so I could be notified. Don't want to go into a long position right into it because it could get rejected, or don't want to go into a short position right into it because it could bounce. So I'm going to wait for the break of $271, and we can start possibly pushing up towards 281. Right? So very simple. Create your alert. This way you guys don't have to look at it and you guys just get a message above over here. Let's drop down towards the 20-day. What is the 20-day looking like, right? 20-day, it's oversold, can't be more oversold. It is finding some type of support over here. It looks like a double bottom, so definitely want to wait for a clear breakout. Definitely want to wait for a clear breakout below that support on the smaller charts, and then you could possibly go for it. Next stock we're going to talk about is Tesla. So Tesla is selling off every day so far, right? So I've been capitalizing. I think I made like 78% or 70 something percent. I posted it on Instagram yesterday on Tesla on short positions. Definitely clean move. We'll talk about that in a moment. Looking at the 1 year on Tesla. Uh-oh, TD's acting up. There you go. All right, let's jump over towards the 1 year. All right, so 1 year. What were some signs of bearishness on Tesla on the 1 year? Right, so Tesla basically went from 101 towards the SMA over here, right? If we were to clear all these lines, right? So you guys can see the picture clearly, right? I've been trading it, so that's why there's a lot of lines. But if we were to clear these lines, major signs of bearishness, right? This SMA, when the candles are below it and they're approaching that SMA, the SMA is the blue line, right? This blue line right here, right? That's why I put this blue line at the end of it. The SMA, when the candles are approaching it, the SMA can act as resistance when the candles are underneath it. When the candles are above it, it could act as support, right? So we approached it, rejected it. We approached it again, and then we rejected it, right? RSI was overbought, RSI was overbought. So those are two signs of bearishness, right? Not only that, we rejected it in the past. So traders are thinking, hey, this could be a possible double top, right? It's important to know a few patterns. There's millions of patterns over there, key patterns. I have videos on patterns that I focus on. This is a potential double top. So a lot of things in the market, as you start trading over time, you start basically able to see what's going to happen because a lot of traders think the same because we're all looking for double tops, double bottoms, triangles, and stuff like that. Um, RSIs, MACDs, whatever. But overall, right? So now MACD's crossing down on the yearly. RSI actually has room to the downside. So even though Tesla has went from 212 up here, we're sitting at 185, maybe even lower this morning, right? Remember the 1 year doesn't update until 9:30. So RSI still has more room for downside. So if you could actually guesstimate how far a stock has to go by looking at the RSI, right? If we were to say, hey, the RSI is going to go back to being oversold, right? Which is typically where people look for long positions, right? RSI oversold, you see that it starts to rally. Same situation, right? Overbought, it comes back down. So even if we were to say, hey, the RSI is going to go back to oversold, Tesla could possibly even go to 163. Right? So that's my crazy thoughts right there. Take it with a grain of salt. Overall, Tesla is pulling back right now on the larger charts, right? On the larger charts. The smaller charts may tell us a different story, right? And then that's why you always got to be cautious and know when to enter, right? When to enter and be patient. Trading is all about being patient and waiting for the right times, right? Is now the right time to enter a super low, a swing trade on Tesla to the downside? I don't think so. Right now, because the 180-day is oversold. Stocks move in waves, right? Right now, we're oversold. We could bounce up, hit the 1 year, float around here, then come back down, right? So right now, the RSI is oversold on the 180-day. So any short position is considered a high risk short position, right? But on the break of 182, we could possibly even go down towards these lows over here of 175, right? As long as the RSI stays in the blue zone, we can actually continue to go lower until it starts to come out. So if this goes into the blue zone, I'll definitely probably look for a short position with a tight stop loss down towards that 182, towards 175, right? We're holding below the 180-day. Now, if we were to violate the 180-day to the upside, then I'll look for a long position. Right? If we're to violate this 187.50, then I'll look for a long position right into that SMA. Why? Because that SMA could be a possible wall for me. That could be a possible rejection zone. Make sure you guys pay attention to that as well, right? So we're trading from one area to the next area, and that's what's called risk management, right? Managing my risk. Hey, this could be a possible area of rejection, right? If you look over here, she struggled to get above that SMA in the past, right? That blue line. She struggled to get above it, and she failed, right? So that could possibly happen over here if I get some type of green candle going into that zone. Get a green candle over here, we could possibly start going sideways and reject it and come down lower. Especially since the SMA is right there. The SMA is right there in the 1 year. So that's two major resistance zones for Tesla in that one area. So definitely don't want to be a hero. But overall, that's my outlook on Tesla. 187 towards that 193 if we bounce, and then down towards that 182, down towards 176. 20-day, let's check that out. 20 days oversold as well. This was a previous support zone, so definitely want to play it by ear. Watch out for those key levels. She is selling off now, doesn't mean that she's going to be selling off at 9:30. So that's one thing to think about as well. All right, next stock we're going to talk about is going to be SPY. Yeah, 15 minutes oversold. She may look to bounce. Let's look at SPY. We're going to go to the 1 year on SPY. And when you're in your trade, you want to kind of look at maybe like larger charts while you're in your trade. Don't just start focusing on smaller charts. But overall, let's look at SPY over here. SPY is above the 1 year, so basically didn't turn fully bearish, right? Even though she dropped from 412 all the way down towards what is she now? Like 406. She's not extremely bearish, right? Why is that, right? Why is she not extremely bearish right now? This is time in sales. So she's not extremely bearish because she hasn't broke that 404. She's still above the 1 year AMA. Until she breaks 404, then we could possibly drop towards 394. So that's one thing we're getting from here. MACD's crossed up. RSI is it's at 59. It could go higher, it could go lower. So let's see what happens. Let's jump over towards the 180 day. Definitely going to reset my TD. Maybe I didn't get the update last night. All right. So same drill. If we're above the EMA, we're bullish. Below it, we're bearish, right? Right now, we're floating in the middle. So if SPY starts to break 407, we could possibly start pushing up towards 409, maybe even higher. To the downside, downside's a little tricky, right? Downside 406 right here has been support. Remember, these are 4-hour candles. We're in the 180-day 4 hour. So this was 4 hours of basically downward trend right here, right? That's why this candle's red. This is 4 hours of green. So that's why this area was the only area that stopped these candles, right? So it acted as a floor for both these candles. So that's why I'm looking at 406 to the downside towards 404, and to the upside, the EMA major trend change, right? So on the break of 407, you could start basically going to 409. Some people ask me what indicators I use. These are the indicators I use. Moving average exponential, simple moving average, that's the long blue line. This is the EMA that I use. Make sure you guys edit your settings, MACD and RSI. Sometimes I use a VWAP, sometimes, but very rarely. But that's going to be it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Gave you guys a lot of key information today. Make sure you guys practice patience, right? And wait for your proper setups. This is basically how I trade. Got my 30-minute, 15-minute, and my 10-minute. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Leave a like and comment below. Subscribe. Bye.